But it is really extraordinary how many of these types of programs and how fast they have been adopted by many institutions, not just the University of Kent, but we see it in the corporate world, we see it in councils. And I'm yet to see a single shred of evidence to see or to demonstrate that this improves the material lives of ethnic minority people, of disadvantaged young people or disadvantaged people from any background. It seems to me that this is a quite curious exercise in rehabilitating what is considered acceptable things to think, to the diminishment of actually a vibrant and rich academic life. I think as we've had, over a year of disrupted education, I think it is quite worrying that some universities are not necessarily using this as an opportunity to actually get students back into the classroom, making sure that they have the highest level of intellectual and academic rigor, but are instead using these programs to essentially cultivate what is a new kind of moral orthodoxy amongst students.
I mean, I've got to be honest with you, without this report, or whatever you want to call it, highlighting the potential trope that maybe wearing second-hand clothes is some kind of stigma for ethnic minorities, I would never have thought about that. I just can't help but wonder whether or not these kind of things are actually doing more to reinforce division than actually solve it. I literally would never have crossed my mind had this report not raised this trope, as it were,
I mean, many of the things that have been mentioned, such as white privilege and microaggressions and things like this, while some people do believe that these things are real and significant shapers of society, these are very contested ideas. This is a very live debate that's going on. And so for a university to effectively take a position on this and require students to take a test or take some kind of course which means that they actually accept these ideas in some form or another, means that the university is taking an active ideological position in what is a very contested debate. And the University of Kent has many interesting and passionate academics, Professor Matthew Goodwin, Professor Frank Faraday, who have done rigorous academic work. And I think it is a very a corrosive thing for academic and student life to be pushing forward particular ideological positions on this very contentious subject.
I think it's quite sinister, actually. So apparently, this is reported in The Telegraph, who looked at this test, this white privilege quiz students are asked to take. And white students are given a list of 13 options, benefits they enjoy by virtue of being white. And if they tick all 13, a gold star is awarded. Yes, you pass your white privilege test C, you do have white privilege. Oh, and if not, a button appears telling them, try again, you didn't properly identify your white privilege, which is actually quite sinister to me. I mean, why the hell do they get away with this kind of thing?
Well, I think that the pushback is not strong enough here. I think that there's people that express concerns. I think that there are organisations like the Free Speech Union and others who try and raise awareness, but it needs a much more coherent and cultural realisation about what many young people are being taught. I mean, if I was a student right now, I'd see this as incredibly patronising. I need to be taught about respect and white privilege when one had hoped that you would be entering an institution that will be taking you seriously and taking academic and intellectual life seriously, rather than spending time doing things like this. And it does seem like this is a huge momentum that's gaining traction in many, many areas, but many people are too scared. I mean, if the university is saying this, and if you say that actually you don't, from a freedom of conscience perspective, you don't agree with this, then you do wonder what the reaction from the university would be. I would strongly say to the University of Kent that they should prioritise getting students back into the classroom, getting in-person teaching and revivifying a vibrant student and academic culture, rather than spending time on this.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.